What's up, guys? What's up? It's Sunday, May 23, I'm pretty sure. Alexa, time.
It's 6:28 a.m.
It's 6:28 a.m. I don't know what to say. I hope you have a good day. I hope Jesus blesses you. I'm about to have breakfast. I'm gonna go in the hot tub. Okay, 1, go in the hot tub, 2, have breakfast. And then we'll work out and go from there. Peace. Dude, when our society, just like civilization in general, has become so morally decrepit that it's not actually the economy that matters. It's the morals of the people. It's our alignment with God that really all that matters. The government can raise their taxes to 45% because nobody will do anything in response. They can purposely crash our economy because they know nobody will do anything about it. The government and the corporations can endlessly exploit us. They can implement AI. They can have digital IDs, full digital currencies. They can have full facial recognition of anywhere we go. They can track us through our phones. They can have access to every single one of our messages we send to our friends. And nobody will do anything about it because we're all too weak and easily controlled and slaves to our bad habits. And because of that, AI surveillance will come to us. An AI police force will come to us where we can never get out of, where they can rule over us for thousands of years and it'll be impossible to ever escape. Once AI enslaves us, there's no going back. Once artificial intelligence, once the government and corporations implements artificial intelligence to enslave us, nothing will save us. We'll be enslaved. Humanity will be enslaved forever. The Chinese government, the CCP, is impossible to overthrow. The only way the CCP can go down is if America or if other powers, if America and Russia somehow team up alongside NATO to take down the Chinese government. The world's not at that point yet. But the American government and the Chinese government have one thing in common. They both want power and control. And why would they be enemies when they both want the same thing? They both want power and control over their own citizens. Look at the European Union. The European Union's basically where China was 10 years ago. China in 2016 was in the early stages of implementing digital IDs. And their digital ID system in 2016 was already just starting to form. And it was only for average citizens. But then it came to students. And then they started using facial recognition. China was where we're at 10 years ago. China in 2016 is where we are at right now. And who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop our government? Our governments of the Western world have absolutely flooded our borders with immigration of foreign people. They've purposely crashed our economy. And they've raised, and our taxes are 45%, and we get nothing back from the government. And they send billions of our dollars to useless things, like that war in Ukraine. So, what's gonna stop them? Are the people gonna stop them? We just figured out the people who control our government are satanic pedophiles. And nobody did anything about it. We figured out that the entire power structure of the Western world is satanic pedophiles, and nobody did anything. And the left and the right are still fighting. The leftist leaders are satanic pedophiles, and the leaders of the right wing are satanic pedophiles. People like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton were guaranteed on the Epstein list. We figured out that all of the Marxist writers were downright satanic, and they didn't even deny it. The people who owned Hollywood are also satanic, and they all worship Baal and Molech. And people like Donald Trump do the same thing. And nobody did anything about it. Nobody cared. Left and the right are still fighting. This is what happens when society abandons God. When society abandons God, we rely on our good morals. And the good morals, they are good morals. Don't get me wrong. But good morals slip. Good morals don't do anything. Good morals are like a house. Just like religion is a house, they both look the same. But good morals are backed by sand. And God is backed by the rock. But good morals can fall to power and manipulation. When power tells you something is right and wrong, good morals listen. God doesn't listen. God doesn't respond to power because God is all powerful. When power speaks, when somebody goes and puts a gun to your head and says 1 + 1 = 3, people of good morals will say 1 + 1 = 3. But God is more powerful than the gun. That's what atheists don't realize. Good morals slip. The bikini, and I think it was made in 1956, had to be worn by a stripper. And they asked tons of women, would you ever wear this? And they said no, never. They had to pay a stripper to wear a bikini. 8 years later, it is a normal thing in society. Something that was completely extreme, that hundreds of girls would never wear, that was thinked to be the upright most extreme, was now normal. The birth rate in 1960 was 7. The birth rate 30 years later, in 1980, the birth rate was 1.8. The birth rate dropped by 600% in 30 years because of the sexual revolution. And what was considered extreme was not normal. That's what good morals do to society. That's what happens when society abandons God. The killing of over 1 billion people through abortion is completely normalized because that's what good morals brings you. Pornography is available to absolutely everyone at all times. 50 years ago, pornographic movies were literally shamed by so many. Were the most shamed thing in society. It was considered unthinkable. People would be too ashamed to even go take a newspaper magazine with provocative pictures on it. And now it's a normal thing. You see, good morals slip. Good morals are backed by sand. Nothing backs good morals. Good morals are completely backed by, well, we just trust that people won't be evil. I mean, that doesn't do anything. It's a house of cards. It's a paper tiger. It's a little band-aid. It's a band-aid to a freaking explosion flesh wound. It's like if somebody gets shot in the chest and you put a band-aid on it. It's not going to do anything. But that's where good morals takes you. And when AI surveillance comes, who's going to save us? The left and the right are still fighting. We just figured out our entire power structure all worships Satan, and they all want our destruction, and all of the destruction that's been happening in society was all carefully orchestrated. And we're still falling for their propaganda. And most people still fall for their propaganda, watching the news, listening to our colleges and our school institutions. Most people believe that the government can still help us, that the government has not completely betrayed us already. Our governments have completely betrayed us. And the people are so morally decrepit that either one will never unify because the left and the right are too divided, and two, we're too weak. We're too weak because we're all enslaved to sin. The same devil that we worship through our sin is the same devil that people in power worship. The same devil that is responsible for our bad habits, that is responsible for making us weak and easily controlled, that is responsible for making us not fight when we know we should be fighting. The same devil they worship. And who's going to save us from this devil? Who's going to save us? We have a whole bunch of porn-addicted, weak men. And then we have a whole bunch of depressed or feminist women. We don't stand a chance. The people of today don't stand a chance. We can barely even manage our own lives. That's how weak we are. We're all doom scrolling while our government exploits us. Who's gonna stand up and fight? Absolutely no one. Or it's going to be a band of 100 people that won't stand a chance. Or the fighting force will be so small and so tiny. It's going to be so puny that with the flick of their finger, they'll just be destroyed. The resistance will be so small it won't stand a chance. And this is what happens when we abandon God. This is what happens when society abandons God. God doesn't like to abandon us, but it's what's happening. Digital ID and digital surveillance are coming for us, and the people will not stop it. Nobody's going to stop it. Nobody is going to stand a chance in stopping it. And that is the truth. That is the dark truth. And these atheists who thought they could abandon God realized if they wanted God to abandon them, it's going to cost their sovereignty. And that they're realistically slaves to the devil. They just wanted to justify them being soaked up in their own sin. But it all started after World War II. It was happening before World War II as well, but I'm afraid George Patton was right. We should have fought alongside the enemy against the communists. And he said in 70 years, I'm afraid America will be a morally decrepit society. And our own empire is going to collapse. And he is right. He's 100% right. The people who control us this entire time have been pure evil. It's been a certain one religion called Satanism that that our leaders have been worshipping since the Federal Reserve Act. They've bought up our media. They've bought up all our businesses and have been enslaving us from a very long time ago under our noses. And America, the Western societies, China's already fallen. The Chinese people are great. I love China and I love everything Chinese. China is the first domino to fall permanently. It's not like the Soviet Union. People back in the Russian Empire probably thought Russia had fallen forever. And Russia had their dark days, certainly. But Russia did not fall. Russia did not fall. Russia had terribly dark days, probably some of the darkest days history will ever see from a society. I don't think any society had it worse than Russia. But China has fallen. China is the first country to fall to AI surveillance. And it sucks because they're probably the most powerful country in the world right now. They have 200 times the shipping capacity of the United States. For every one ship United States makes, China makes 200. They have the world's largest army. They have 25% of the world's manufacturing capacity. And you wonder why they did that. You wonder why the elites put all of America and Europe's factories and shipped all those factories over to China. Because they knew China would be the first one to adopt full digital surveillance. He knew Mao Zedong's communists had power. They knew he had absolute power. That's why they sided with Mao. And that is truly why. Because they were a true communist bastion. They were a bastion for communism. That's why even the Soviet Union and the United States both wanted them. I mean, the Soviet... But yeah. The new focus is in the Middle East, and I mean, our society is already collapsing. But the Middle East is just going to be the final blow. This war in the Middle East is we're kind of like Britain after World War I. Britain, we're bleeding right now. Like, the Western societies, the whole world is bleeding. We're all bleeding right now. But the execution, the murder, like, we've been cut. We're being skinned. We're in the middle of getting skinned. The entire world is getting skinned right now. And the final execution of the world will be this war in the Middle East. Just like World War I bleeded Britain, but Britain did not die. But it only kept its power. Got a little bit less powerful, but it kept its power. It kept their #1 world power stage. They kept their empire. If anything, their empire got bigger. Their empire got bigger. They got stronger. But they were bleeding. They were still winded. They were still tired from the First World War. But the Second one executed them. Second World War executed them. And Britain's kind of like Muhammad Ali. You know, after his boxing career, you could see his last days in 2016. You could see his last days, and he's just a shell of his former self, and that's what Britain is right now. Maybe if Britain properly recovered after the Second World War, it would have been a healthier old man there, but it's just not the case. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad. But this war in the Middle East will be the execution of almost every country in the world. It'll cost everything. It'll cost everything for every country. And if you just look at, you can kind of predict future events based on what's happening right now. Europe is turning to communism. Europe is going to flip communist again. For the second time. That's the truth. Eastern Europe and Russia will not fall to communism. They're going to be the biggest resistance. Eastern Europe and Russia will be the biggest resistance to the New World Order. The Eastern European people and the Russian people have seen it all. They've seen what the elites have tried to do, and they acted accordingly. And they overthrew it. They see how it failed. They see all the problems with it. And it was only 30 years ago. It was only 30 years ago. It wasn't that long ago that Europe was under communism. And the people will remember. The people will know what it looks like. And the Eastern European people are probably more paranoid than ever about the communist threat. Because the Western Europeans, nobody was taught what communism is. The Western Europeans will fall to communism. That's the truth. United States and Canada will fall to communism. That's the truth. But China's already fallen to communism, and the countries that China has influence over will fall to communism. But who knows what's going to happen to Russia and Eastern Europe? That's beyond my knowledge. That's just the truth. But I think there's going to be a faction of people who are not directly controlled by communism itself, but there will be a faction of countries that will try to put an end to it, and who are going to be dragged into the war. I think Russia doesn't want war, but Russia's been dragged into war. 100%. So, yeah, that's it. That's just the app. But that's my prediction. My grand prediction is communism will sweep over the entire world against the people's will, and the people will be too weak to resist it. And Russia and Eastern Europe, and maybe some other countries like maybe Turkey and Libya, might be resistant to it as well. Might be the last shred of resistance from the New World Order. Russia, Belarus, Eastern Europe, Libya might be the last independent countries. And they're going to be dragged into a war, and the resistance will be dragged into a war against their will to eventually destroy Israel against their will. That's it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Minecraft video. And today, do I even have anything in my e-chest? I'm just playing on my world. I've had this world for like a month. I basically have nothing in my e-chest. That's my silk touch pick. It's supposed to be the name of Lightning McQueen's driver. No, try tire changer, because I don't know where that pro went. Well, that failed. And over time, we know nothing but cat. Okay, so I'm at the base now. I'm kind of rich, if you haven't noticed. I need more wind charges, like pretty bad. Good thing I don't have a trial chamber to get them. Oh yeah, I have another. This chest is absolutely nothing. Okay, I'll put, woman and cat. I named it Special Woman because it has a loyalty 3. I named this one Woman because they get wild when they're wet. Made in Russia because you can put rockets in them. It could be a rocket launcher. Take off your bra because it takes off your armor. You know, Woody. I don't know. That's probably the most generic name. Oh, I forgot to name my shield. I don't have any anvil. It's real mine. Get it? Because it's real and it's mining because it has Fortune 3. No, it's Silk Touch. It's Silk Touch. So it makes it more real. Clavicular because he's pulling everything. Bonnie Blue, pretty self-explanatory. Donald Trump because he's getting me riches. Even though I really don't like Donald Trump, I don't hate him enough to dehumanize him. Circumcision. Wait, what? Oh, I see now. I see now. Cause you can connect the dots. Hot girls. This is my OG sword. I just named it Gyudo shortener because it has density 5. I'm not actually sure. And then how I feel with girls, I just go flying. I need to put more stuff in here. Water bucket will also be pretty useless. Egg trains ideas. I can not mark down that. I really don't need the made in Russia. I do need gaps. I have only a few under chests. I'll sleep through the night. Like, I really just needed building blocks. It's a good offhand item. Not on camera. Oh, I'm doing the wrong one. That's why. I was right clicking, not left clicking. It's actually way harder than it looks. I think you're supposed to do something with your binds and your mouse, but this might actually be easier. I'm using my mouse side buttons. Okay, well that obviously does not. Holy, it's actually kind of hard. Holy, I almost fell into the void there. I do need to develop the end a little more. I think it's pretty easy to get to the end islands. Make my way back. I'm not really worried about that. And I have none of the areas mapped out as well. It's also not the greatest. I've died so many times here. I need to find an ancient city. Wait, no, not an ancient city. What's it called again? I think this one has better efficiency. They both have efficiency 5 on them. I need to turn it to hard mode. Holy, that was sketchy. Wait, I have an elytra.